Japan, the world's third largest economy, didn't just delay a trip. It abruptly cancelled a major trade delegation visit to the United States, a pointed snub that laid bare growing fractures in Washington's trade approach. This wasn't an isolated move. It unfolded as India stood its ground against President Donald Trump's tariffs, which New Delhi saw as more than numbers. They were a test of whether major economies could still be coerced by unilateral pressure. Now Japan too was pushing back. Citing administrative deadlocks and an unwillingness in Washington to compromise, Tokyo stepped away. The signal was unmistakable. The world's fourth and fifth largest economies were refusing to be singled out or strong armed. As tariffs rattled global markets, a contrast emerged. China, meanwhile, the largest buyer of Russian oil, was quietly given a 90-day extension. India and Japan faced steeper levies. This uneven treatment stoked frustration in New Delhi and Tokyo, and in capitals watching closely. In the US, criticism grew as Democrats questioned the focus on India. And when White House trade advisor Peter Navarro oddly tried linking India to the Ukraine war, the trade debate looked even more distorted. Yet, amid the turbulence, a larger shift took shape. While Washington appeared unreliable, Tokyo looked ready, and India, far from isolated, found itself at the center of new alignments. When Prime Minister Narendra Modi landed in Tokyo, the symbolism was striking. The Tokyo skytree lit up in saffron, white, and green. The Gayatri mantra resonated in hotel lobbies. A small but rooted Indian diaspora gathered with tricolor scarves and traditional songs. It wasn't just a bilateral visit, Modi's first to Japan in nearly 7 years. It was a statement. Hours before his touchdown, Japan's top trade negotiator had cancelled his US trip. Coincidence? In diplomacy, timing rarely is. At the India-Japan Economic Forum, the headlines wrote themselves. Modi told business leaders India wasn't merely rising. It was already an engine of global growth. The world is not just watching India, it is counting on India. Then came substance. Japan pledged 10 trillion yen, around $68 billion, over the next decade. The sectors chosen were bold and forward-looking. A digital partnership spanning AI and digital public infrastructure. A space collaboration, ISRO and Japan's space agency teaming up for Chandrayaan-5, a lunar polar mission aimed at new frontiers. A semiconductor alliance, because chips today are not just microcircuits, they are sovereignty. Cooperation in rare earths, green energy, nuclear power, and next-generation infrastructure. For Japan, rich in technology but constrained by a shrinking workforce, India's scale and talent filled the gap. For India, Japan's science and capital accelerate ambition. The most audacious goal wasn't just money, it was people. 500,000 exchanges in coming years, including 50,000 Indian workers supporting Japan's aging economy. Students, entrepreneurs, cultural ambassadors, a living bridge. When Modi met Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, the focus wasn't on short-term disputes but long-term strategy. Democracy, global stability, the Indo-Pacific. The message was crisp. India and Japan will shape the Asian century. Their joint vision, a 10-year roadmap across infrastructure, green energy, digital innovation, and security. And the arc didn't stop in Tokyo. Modi would head to China for his first visit there in 7 years to attend the SCO summit. The questions would shift, but the message would not. India's multi-alignment is strategy, not weakness. In a turbulent world, it is choosing principles. Partnerships over dependence, cooperation over coercion, growth over isolation. Beneath the diplomacy lies a deeper transformation. India's economy today is defined by stability, predictability, and ambition. Over 11 years, reforms reshaped governance. One nation, one tax, a simplified income tax code, 45,000 compliances rationalized. Sensitive sectors like defense, space, and nuclear opened to private participation. The results are visible. India contributes 18% to global growth. Capital markets are strong. Inflation and interest rates stable. Foreign exchange reserves near $700 billion. And for the first time in 2 decades, S&P Global upgraded India's credit rating. For Japan, these aren't just statistics. They're an invitation. Japanese companies have invested over $40 billion in India, $13 billion in just the last 2 years. Surveys indicate 80% of Japanese firms want to expand in India, and 75% are already profitable. Capital in India doesn't just grow, it multiplies. Modi's pitch in Tokyo was simple. Don't just make in India, make for the world. He cited Suzuki and Daikin as proof points and offered 5 pillars for partnership: manufacturing, technology, green energy, infrastructure, and skills, each reinforcing the two nations and contributing to the global south, especially Africa. As the visit drew to a close, the mood was unmistakable. This wasn't routine tree talk, it was a declaration. India and Japan will not be passive rule takers in the 21st century. They will be architects of their future. What began as suspense over tariffs and a clash with Washington has revealed something larger: an India that refuses to be cornered, building coalitions instead. The story has moved beyond resistance to leadership. India isn't just weathering the storm, it's setting the course. Together with Japan and partners across continents, it is proving that prosperity can rest on trust, not intimidation, that order can be shaped by cooperation, not coercion, and that the Asian century is not a distant aspiration. It is arriving. The world is counting on India, and India is ready.